Are you tired of spending forever on thumbnails that nobody clicks? Well, I found an AI tool that's helped me to go from spending 5 hours on a single thumbnail to creating high quality click-worthy thumbnails in just a single click. But if you want to create your own epic YouTube thumbnails using AI, then you need to know 3 important things: the secret behind how it works, how to quickly set it up for consistent high quality results, and how to master prompts to turn simple images into clickable thumbnails. Now, this tool will do 99% of the hard work for you, and it's actually stopped me spending forever in Photoshop trying to get my thumbnails to look perfect. But the best thing that it does is it can recreate high performing YouTube thumbnails and make you the main subject. And it's not just a tool that helps you save time, but it's a tool that can help you create thumbnails that actually get clicked on. When your thumbnail does everything right, then more of the right people click on your video, which is exactly how you start growing a YouTube channel. So let's take a look at how this tool actually works so that you can start creating high quality thumbnails for your channel in just a single click. Now, this tool works on one simple rule: inputs and outputs. You give it your best photos and a few simple words, and boom, you've been given some super high quality thumbnails of yourself in seconds. Now, check out these images on screen at the minute. After I quit my 9 to 5 for YouTube, I asked this AI tool to generate some relevant thumbnails of myself that I could use on my YouTube channel. But have a guess which ones were made by AI and which ones I actually took myself. And it's pretty much impossible to tell the difference because of how consistent and high quality the AI results are. So much so that I showed a picture to my wife and she thought the AI generated result was actually a picture I'd taken myself. And then I told her to look at the thumb. Yeah, it's all in the thumbs. But here's the thing: when you're just starting, the AI thumbnail generator might not nail it every single time, and that's completely normal. But with a few tweaks, you can improve the output every single time. Basically, the quality of your input determines the quality of your output. And once you master this, you'll get high quality thumbnails every single time that people are gonna click with hardly any effort. Now, setting up this AI thumbnail generator right is super important, because if you mess things up, any of the settings, then you're just going to get awful results. Plus, it saves a load of headaches later on. Now, the first step to getting this tool set up is that you've got to take clean photos of yourself with a plain background. And this is super important because if you've got any random objects in your background or your background's a little bit messy, then the AI thumbnail generator might pull some of those objects that you've got in your background into your thumbnails. And it just makes a complete mess of things. Then you've just got to make sure that the photos that you take are saved as either JPEG or PNG. And just so you're aware, the photos that you take on your iPhone are most likely going to be in the format of HEIC, but you can use tools like EasyGIF or Cloud Convert to basically turn them into PNGs or JPEGs. And I even like to use the word natty in my file names. Now, don't worry, because I'll explain this later, but it's basically so that the AI tool knows that these are images of me. Once you've got your photos, zip them up, create the bot, add a trigger word, which I'll get onto later, upload your file, and then let the bot do its work, which will take around 20 to 30 minutes to do. Sounds super simple, right? Well, let me share a few things about this bot that I had to learn the hard way. After creating my first thumbnail bot, I didn't realise how much leaving objects in the background of your photo would affect the image that's being generated. And because I had extra stuff in the background, the AI basically kept spamming my photos with random objects, like this YouTube Lego logo, this YouTube mug, which I actually made myself, and even this clapperboard. Now, it came in handy sometimes because it automatically generated the YouTube logo in the image for me, but it wasn't always needed. So what I had to do is basically remove the background of all of my images and then replace it with a clean grey one. And the second thing I found out is that if you have a huge red spot on your face, the AI will continue to generate that big red spot on your face for every single image. So what I had to do is basically go through every single photo again, remove that red spot before adding a whole new range of images to the AI bot. But you could also, and I can't believe I'm actually admitting to this, use your wife's concealer. And the third thing that I realised is that my first images that I generated with this tool gave me a massive head in comparison to the rest of my body. So I had to re-upload a whole new set of photos and retrain the AI to basically learn the size of my head, my arms, my legs, everything in comparison to the size of the rest of my body. Now this has helped massively to create consistent images. Now even though the website might look super techy at first with weird words and random numbers dotted all over the place, and you might even think, am I in the right place? Don't worry, because once you get past that, the tool is actually super easy to use. Now I've put a link in the description to a complete step-by-step guide on how to create your own bot, and I've also put in some useful prompts in there too that you can just copy and paste and use for your own bot so that you can create high quality thumbnails even faster. Now I'm going to get rid of these and put them back where they actually belong. Don't tell my wife. Now imagine if every time that someone saw you posted a new video, they got a totally random thumbnail that didn't have any resemblance to your other thumbnails that you've posted in the past, because they simply weren't in your style. That'd be a little bit confusing, right? Now when your thumbnails always look like you and have a consistent theme or style, then people will start to recognize your content, which means people start recognizing your channel, which means more clicks and eventually more fans. So even though you've got this super cool AI tool that can generate high quality thumbnails for you in a click of a button, how much control do you actually have over it so that you can continue creating consistent thumbnails for your channel? Well, you basically have full creative control over it. Like I could even create myself to look like Superman, or maybe Spider-Man without a mask and just with a wig, or I could give myself massive muscles, and so on. You can basically have a load of fun with this tool, and the outputs that it generates are endless. But the only downside to this tool is that it sometimes struggles to generate customized text, but there are ways around it, which I'll share in a little bit. But I love to keep my thumbnails consistent by having a signature look. So basically one of the ways I do that is by just wearing a cap in every single one of my thumbnails, and more often than not it's this white cap that I've got right now. So in my prompt I say something like, with his signature white cap, with his cap pulled low enough so that you can't see any hair. Yeah, I had to tweak it a little bit so that I didn't end up with a wild hairdo that I never asked for. Now, when you're creating your prompts, there are basically 6 key things that you need to include. The subject, who is in the photo and what are they wearing. The action, basically what you're doing in the image. The environment, where the subject is at. The lighting and how the lighting sets the mood. The mood itself, what expression does the subject have and what's the overall feel. And then composition, basically how you're framed in the image. For my last video, the AI generated some pretty good images of me, but what I was seeing working well on YouTube at the minute was basically a background that had a squiggly line in it with little checkpoints along the way. So I really wanted to test the AI to see just how much I could really test the limits of it. And unfortunately the AI didn't nail it perfectly, but to be honest it did a pretty good job. So it's times like these where you need a little bit of manual input. So I put this into Photoshop, added my own squiggly lines, added my own text, and added a few other things here and there. But the AI still saved me time in having to take a thumbnail photo. So sometimes the AI tool generates thumbnails that are that awesome that you don't have to do anything with it. But there are times when you have to do a little bit of manual work, but it's nowhere near as much as what you'd had to have done if you'd have done the whole thumbnail yourself. And here's a pro tip. When you're using the AI tool, when you first set it up, you want to make sure that you're using a unique keyword that's not really used in the English language anywhere else. So for example, my unique keyword is natty, and this keyword is basically the trigger for the AI tool to know to generate images of yourself. I even use ChatGPT to help me come up with prompts that I can just put into the AI tool. But there are some hidden settings in this tool that can help you to get results that are pretty much perfect every single time. The first setting you want to change is the aspect ratio. So you want to change this to 16:9 because that's the standard size of thumbnails. The second is to choose PNG as the output for the highest quality possible. And then you want to decide how many outputs that the image generator actually gives you. Now I usually just go with one, so then I can just tweak the prompt depending on the image that's generated. And the rest of the settings you can just leave as default because they'll do a great job by themselves. Now if you spend forever trying to create thumbnails and spend hours and hours like I used to, then it's a complete waste of time, when instead you can be spending that time on doing even more important things like spending time with your family, with your friends, or even building your YouTube channel and your business. So I've been using Replicate, which is this crazy AI tool that I've been talking about throughout this entire video. I've been using it for a while and it's saved me a ton of time and money. Now software like Photoshop can cost like $30 a month, but with Replicate you're literally paying a cent or a penny per generation. Last month I generated over 140 images and it literally cost me $1.64 or £1.28, plus that $3.60 to create those 3 different AI models. Now, you shouldn't have to spend that much because you'll have watched this video and followed my guide, so it should turn out much cheaper for you. But this AI model is insanely cheap compared to what you'd usually spend on like Photoshop or Canva. So really, there's nothing to think twice about when it comes to spending money on this tool. Now, sometimes the tool might come up with weird artifacts, which basically means glitches in your images, but all you have to do is keep clicking that run button until you get an image that you actually like, because it literally costs you a penny per click. But as awesome as this AI tool is for creating high quality thumbnails at speed, it's only one small part of the entire YouTube creation workflow. So if you want to take your channel to the next level, then you need to have a workflow that's going to save you time and ultimately help you make the best videos possible. And the YouTube workflow that I've put together is made up of 6 key parts, and once you master it, it can take your channel to a whole different level. So to find out what those 6 core elements are and how to implement them into your own YouTube workflow, you can check out this video right here. And honestly, it's the next step to turning your channel into something that can change your life forever, like it did with mine.